Hello, everybody. This is David Powell, and we're here for another edition on Weather and Wisdom. And boy, we've got a lot to talk about today. The weather out there has been pretty nice if you had a chance to get out there and enjoy it. And now evening has befallen us, and it looks like that it's one of those evenings that's going to be pretty nice. We're going to take a look at some of the traffic cams around the area. And right here, we're looking at Hucks at this is on the South Bypass. I'm sorry, I've got a little choke going on here in my throat, but it does look like that we've got a nice evening. I'm going to check another one. Let's look over here at I-24 and 6880. Again, it looks really nice. Looks like we got a nice sunset going on, and pretty happy with how this day has gone. It's been really nice, and I hope you had a chance to enjoy it. I will tell you that I would appreciate if you guys would hit subscribe and be sure and like this video if you do like it, that is. If you don't, I guess don't hit it. But anyway, it does help us with YouTube keeping up with the number of viewers we have, and they do that so that we can see about when they have a certain number, they'll approach some advertisers and hopefully send a little money our way, because this technology is not cheap. So hopefully that you guys will like this, and we can mainly bring you a good service for what's fixing to happen. Now I'm going to talk about some serious stuff because things are going to change. They have changed drastically as far as the severe weather output for Friday. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the day one, what SPC has. And I'm going to bring in our meteorologist, Mark, and there you are, Mark. Right now,
hello, everyone.
What we're looking at is out of the Paducah radar. You see a little bit of things there, and so we're going to put this a little bit into motion. Just talk to us a little bit about what you see happening as we go through the evening hours.
Well, as the atmosphere starts to destabilize off to our west, you can see those showers starting to pop up that are up in this area right here. What you're seeing green right here is a marginal chance of severe weather. That's just the beginning of the severe weather threat that's going to be coming, but it's not going to be much overnight. You'll see these start to increase and start to move across our area as the night goes on and into tomorrow morning.
And one of the things that you always think about when we're about to have a severe event is, will the clouds and the rain help reduce the instability, and will we look better? So let's look at the next step of what's going to happen on day two. And my goodness, look at that. This is not a good sign. In fact, they have actually worsened. The severe threat is intensified somewhat. So let's elaborate a little bit on this, Mark.
All right, what you're seeing here, this area is the enhanced area we were talking about in our previous video a couple of days ago. But what's going on down in here is a moderate risk area. They're showing a much greater chance of severe storms down in this area, Missouri Boot Heel, far west Kentucky. Our threat has increased a bit also, not enough to be put into a moderate area, and still with the squall line coming through, but the chances of something severe or a tornado spin up have increased greatly.
Yeah, so the tornado threat is what a lot of people are most concerned about. So it does not appear that any convection that we get in the morning will help us much as far as reducing the instability. Let's look at the tornado threat. Whew. Boy, that's almost horrifying looking to me. I mean, when I see this, I say, oh my goodness, when you get in the hatched area, that's when you have some serious business, isn't that right?
Yes, that hatched area is how the SPC indicates that there's a chance for a tornado greater than EF2 within 25 miles of a point. And it's just to highlight that there's a greater chance of something bad happening in that area. And we are right in the edge of that, but we are in it.
Yeah, and then, of course, the moderate is right up there in the far western Kentucky. I swear, it doesn't look very nice to me. I was hoping this spring would not be as bad as it appears it's going to be. I've already seen some comparisons that April, they're comparing it to April 2011, and we know how horrible those times were with lots of tornadoes. And but it falls in place with what they're saying. Dixie Alley is going to be more active this year, so it's certainly starting to look that way. So as we look forward on this, let's look at the precipitation, what we can expect as that goes through. Well, actually, let's look at the wind first. What's the wind looking like? Oh, it doesn't look any better. In fact, it looks just about as bad as the other did. What do you think?
Right. That hatched area, the red area you see there, they go by percentages on this type of chart, and they're showing 30% chance of severe winds. And that hatched area, again, is significant winds, possibly over 70 to 75 miles an hour within 25 miles of a point.
And that's not good. Of course, all of you out there are concerned about this. Again, we're going to be watching this for you because we will be going live when this stuff starts tomorrow. We're thinking right now, maybe around 2 p.m. Central Time. We'll hopefully be on live and can show you things. We'll show you the radar as it's happening, and we're going to watch you guys off in far western Kentucky, Fulton, Murray, Mayfield, all you guys. We're going to do our best to let you know what's happening, and even down in Tennessee, Clarksville, we're going to stay on top of this as best we can. But at least you guys can get on here and you can watch it, and you can see everything happening as it's coming in. So the other thing that we need to watch is the hail threat, and it doesn't look to be quite as bad as the other two. So we have the tornado, the wind, and the hail threat. It's there, but it's not quite as bad as the first two. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, there's less chance of hail, and what's going to happen as this squall line moves to the east, it's gradually going to start diminishing in strength. What we're hoping is it'll weaken out a little bit more by the time it gets to us. Areas to our east are probably in a bit better shape as far as this goes. Areas to our west, please take this seriously.
Yes, we don't want anyone to perish. I hope all of you will review your severe weather plans as we go through this day tomorrow. Yes, it looks bad, but we've been here before. We've been through severe storms like this before. Don't panic. Just take your precautions. And Mark, you've always got a saying, and I never can remember how it goes, preparedness.
If you're prepared for it, it's less of an emergency and more of an inconvenience.
Hey, I like that, and that's certainly true. Let's look at the what the models are showing as the precipitation as it comes in. And when I say precipitation, I'm talking about the rainfall and storms. So let's take a look at that. And here we see this is coming from the NAM, and basically this is a composite reflectivity of what we can expect. And this is the start. Looks like the time is about 2 p.m. Is that what we're seeing here?
That's today.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's today. So let's move forward here. Let's go into probably in the morning hours. Okay. Now tomorrow morning, you can see that we've got quite a bit. Let's zoom in on that just a little bit in our area. More up towards Kentucky, yeah, right about in there. You can see that we're going to have some pretty hefty showers in the morning. Let's see, that would be around 6 a.m. Mark, what do you see?
Just a broad area of showers, probably thunder showers. We will see some thunder with this. But then the bad part is this starts to clear out afternoon or so, and we start getting some sun in here, and that's not good when you're expecting severe weather.
So we'll put this on into motion. You can see as the sky is starting to clear, and that's our biggest fear on this. We've always talked about how if we start off cloudy, let's hope it stays that way all day. And unfortunately, this time it does not look like it's going to stay that way. So as we go into tomorrow, move on further into the afternoon, yeah, it looks like bright sunshine, especially over the Hopkinsville, Cadiz area, back towards the lakes, and even on back to the Mississippi River, and then southward, down to really I-40. Looks like that it will be clear. The whole area, the whole region looks like it'll be clear for a little while, and that will be enough to do a lot of damage when it comes to instability and increasing. I'm sure the winds are going to be picking up. Let's move on further into the evening. And there out west, what are we seeing?
We're seeing that squall line start to form up, but more importantly, look right here ahead of it. Look at these individual cells popping up here ahead of it. These are the kind of individual cells that become supercells that can form tornadoes. So we really have to watch that, even up into here a little bit. But the squall line itself is back in this area right in here.
Okay.
And that's where it's just forming. But again, even on the end of it, we're seeing some cells that are shaped like they might have some rotation in them.
As we move further in time, we'll see how this is going to progress. It looks like that yeah, the lines are getting a little more defined, and keep moving. We'll see that, see that supercell out there? I think that's around, yeah, that's around Murray. If the models are correct, that's around 9 p.m. Tomorrow night. So at that time, we're going to be worried about these supercells that are going to form, because those are things that's going to cause some damage, and let's hope that they don't form tornadoes. Let's move on a little further, and we'll see what happens as we get into a little bit later time. Okay, here's 10 p.m. You see the squall line still out to the west. Let's scroll down just a little bit. We're missing some up there on the top. Let's move down some, take the map down a little bit. There we go, just like that. And yeah, you see this main squall line still off to the west of us, and it looks like it's kicking up its heels. Isn't that right?
It does. If you look at the way this is formed, you see these little breaks in the line right here. These are little areas where we might see a tornado spin up in the squall line. They're actually part of supercells, but the supercells are embedded in the line and makes them harder to pick out. But if you're watching for them, you see where these little notches cut in,
Right.
and you see where the breaks in the line are. Those are the areas we watch for the possibility of tornado formation.
So let's go on a little further. See, when is this going to end for us tomorrow evening? And we're going to move a little forward. You see this again. We got the squall line bearing down on us in Hopkinsville by 11 p.m. Back in Katie's, same thing. Looks like the tail end's back, stretching back across the lakes, going into just barely into parts of Tennessee. Now, Clarkson, you got to get in on the action on this, so don't think that you're going to be clear of this, because if you look off to your southwest at that time, you see another pretty good storm headed up your way. So as we move forward, we see that there it is. It does look like the overall line is starting to weaken, and so, Mark, again, does that look like weakening to you?
Yes, I think it will weaken as it comes by us. We still have to watch it, because even though it's going to be, the overall line is going to be weaker, there can still be strong cells in it that can do some damage with straight line winds or small spin up tornadoes.
And let's talk about that a little bit. A lot of people may not realize that you get the downburst or microburst when a thunderstorm's actually dying. So you may, like these right here, they look like they're weakening. That's also where you're in danger of microburst, which could be just as damaging sometimes as a weaker tornado. So, yeah, don't let your guard down just because you see those storms weakening. It looks like Logan County, you're going to get in on the act. There's some storms off to your south and west, but luckily it does not look like it's going to be quite as severe over your way. And we'll watch this as we go on into it a little bit later. Here we're looking at 1 a.m. pretty much for Hopkinsville, Elkton, areas to the west from there. It looks like the severe event is over with, and then a lot of us can breathe a sigh of relief, and Mark and I can go home and get some nice sleep before we have to go to another job the next day. But it does look like that if everything goes well, we'll get through this, and hopefully none of us will get damaged from any kind of a tornado. The wind's going to kick up, though. I got to admit, even after this comes through, the strong gradient winds, Mark, are going to be pretty wild.
Right. They already have a wind advisory out for tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening for the area just to the west of us and approaching us. So I'm sure we'll be part of it too. And that's gusting 35, 40 mile per hour winds.
So, folks, like I said, don't worry too much. Get prepared, and we're going to keep you informed tomorrow as we go through this. We'll be with you every step of the way. We're not going to leave you or anything unless something unusual happens to us here, which I don't anticipate that happening. But we're going to stay on top of it, and as they start coming in, we're going to bring the radar up just like you're seeing right now, and we'll be able to pinpoint you a little closer. If we see something that needs to be watched, we're going to let you know. So hang in there with us, and don't forget to hit subscribe and like. And I guess with that, Mark, you got anything else you'd like to say?
Please pay attention, be prepared, and be ready. And like I said, if you're prepared for it, it's less of an emergency and more of an inconvenience.
Okay, folks, and with that, we're going to go ahead and close out, and we will plan on seeing you sometime tomorrow.